Good evening, folks. How's everybody doing this evening? We had 5. I think that last picture scared them off.
Could
I,
be.
I told you, remember, we're watching this.
That's us watching them, not.
Excuse me.
Oh, good grief. See, taken out of context, it can look pretty scary. But it was meant as, hey, we are watching the news. We are watching for their lies. And boy, this week, the news is full of lies.
Oh, yeah.
Mistruths, misrepresentations, and other funny quicks. But we won't tell no lies. We will only present facts. So we'll give it a few minutes for a few more people to slide up on in here. Hello, Miss Nina. Hello, Michael. Yeah, we got the evil twin hiding out there somewhere in the shadows. Oh, no, wait. He's up on the panel. It's the good twin out in the shadows. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I kidnapped him.
You need to go get your anonymous mask. Because that's what the last picture was, is anonymous.
Actually, I thought that was V.
No, you need to look really close. It's anonymous. AWD, welcome. Good evening. And all that fun stuff. We got 9 people up on in there. Some of them are just kind of lurking. We appreciate the lurkers too. So while everybody gets comfy, I'm going to go ahead and start it off here. We're going to start off with some volcanic activities. Our treasured home, good evening. So right now we have 45 volcanoes currently spewing their beautiful red stuff all over our golden or green little planet. Well, wait a minute. There is one party that says it's a golden planet that we're destroying because we caused the Earth to tilt. Did everybody manage to get on one corner of the Earth and lean one way and make it tilt? I mean...
Yeah, I would like to know how that happened.
No. Well, see, what herein lies the crux of the situation. They didn't tell the whole truth. The Earth wobbles like a drunken sailor rolling through space. And I seen on Facebook today a scientific project group that was touting that it is our fault that the Earth is tilted on its axis. I posted, what a way to tell a fib. I didn't say it exactly that way, but I said, you need to tell the facts. The Earth wobbles like a drunken sailor. And they said, well, the magnetic fields are moving. I said, the magnetic fields have been moving since the beginning of recorded history. They're trying to make it sound like, it's recent history. It's just because it's of us that this is happening. No, it's been going on for a long time.
It was going on with Galileo and everyone else, realized that's why they have the declination of magnetic north for centuries.
Yeah, and just like the sun, every 11 years does a magnetic flip. Oh, wait, they don't talk about that either. Our Earth has done magnetic flips in the past. There is proof that at one time Antarctica was actually a tropical zone. Well, given the way our Earth currently sits, that seems nearly impossible. So deductive reasoning would state that if that statement is true, and it is scientifically proven it is, that means our Earth was at a different tilt. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't us that did it. It just happens.
Well, look at, I just lost it. Is it Uranus that's on its side or Neptune?
Uranus.
Uranus doesn't orbit like this. It orbits like this.
Actually, the rings orbit sideways compared to the planet.
Yes, I mean, it rotates like this as it's going around. So instead of going, rotating, this way, it's rotating this way. So the one end is always facing the sun.
Well, the planet itself rotates somewhat normally. It's the rings that rotate opposite on the vertical. Yeah, because they don't actually mesh together. Like Saturn rotates the same way the rings do. Uranus rotates opposite of the rings. If memory serves, I could be wrong. And you know what? I'm man enough to say if I'm wrong, I apologize. I'm human. I make
Yeah.
mistakes.
I thought the whole planet turned the same way as the rings did on its side.
Nah, it's weird out in the outer planets.
Yeah, it's all kinds
Maybe
of
that's Planet X.
Nah, Planet X is too big.
And no, Miss Nina, it wasn't your fault. We are not letting you take the responsibility for that one. We'll throw it at the other person. I mean, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. Anywho, grab a drink if you got one. Anyway, just in case anybody is curious, St. Vincent is still spewing, as well as a few other ones.
It was
There's quite a few.
interesting about this spreadsheet. What made me look for this when I sent it to you, there was someone put out a video 2 days ago saying that it begins with an E, the volcano down there on Antarctica.
Right here, Erebus.
Yeah, and saying that it was blowing majorly big time right now.
It looks like it's just smoking its pipe.
Yeah, when I did some looking into it, it was actually 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of disinformation out there.
Yeah, the
Hello,
guy,
Christy.
oh yeah, it's going right now. It's getting really bad. You know, it's like I'm looking at, and it was dated a couple days ago. He put this video out, and it's like, no,
Right here, several small to medium eruptions way back then,
yeah,
back in October 14th.
Mhm.
That was several months ago.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a cause for concern at this point in time.
no.
But all volcanoes are. Let's skip on ahead to earthquakes.
I felt the earth, dude, in my feet. Oh,
Anyway, in the last 24 hours, there have been a whopping 253 earthquakes. Sounds pretty scary, don't it? Until you, I mean, if you look at this here, it's like, wow. Let's zoom in. Wow, the U.S. is pretty active, wouldn't you say?
Yep.
Oh, wait. Let's change our information to 2.5 and above. Oh, that's not as scary. See what happens when you don't give full information, folks? Now, if we did 7 days all magnitudes, that would look really scary. There's what the mainstream media would tell you. The whole West Coast is starting to rumble. But that's normal. That earthquake number is normal. This is normal. Are any of these life-threatening, worrisome? No. These are normal. Those are normal. I wouldn't worry about anything over here until you see this.
and if you go back for the last, the last. Yeah, all right. See those yellow ones there off there on that when it's running off at an angle? Yeah, those.
Yeah, when you
That
see
was-
these,
That was an unusual cluster in one day. But all it was just some. It slipped and went oops,
see,
and
that
it may
was-
be another year and a half before it slips again.
right. So this is minor. This
Yeah.
is just one or two small boulders getting knocked out of the way. Okay, this is normal. Now, when you see these here, something like this, and I didn't click on it. Where is it? There it is. When you see that 5.3 hit into a 7.5 to 8, hey, White family. Hey, Courtney, his husband. Good evening. When you see these start hitting 7s and 8s multiple times in a day, then start worrying about the Cascadia. But until then, don't worry about it. Watch the one day. Just keep an eye on it. Earthquakes are not scary if you have proper knowledge. Even if you live in an earthquake-prone zone, which most people who live there are already somewhat prepared, whether they want to admit it or not, they're prepared. It's not a big concern. So let's go to more depressing. I mean, enlightening. Wait a minute. No, most of it is depressing. for those of us who are woke. Oh, darn it. I use that word. Triggered. Short rant. I am sick and tired of hearing these companies who say they're woke when they're
That's when they're
spewing more
broke.
and more and more Gestapo-like activities. Being
Being
woke,
woke, they're broke.
well, being woke does not mean implementing Gestapo-like activities. This isn't pre-World War I Germany here. This is the United States of America, founded on individual freedoms and the freedom of speech, freedom of religion. God gave us inalienable rights, Declaration of Independence. I'm not going to get into it because I'll go on a 4-hour rant. We don't have that kind of time. Let's just say these woke companies, some of them are going to wind up going severely broke, but they're never going to backtrack their statements. So if you're the kind of person, hey, Fish and Loaves, if you're the kind of person that doesn't deal business with companies that are trying to, no, I didn't, Dustin. No. Anyway, if you don't want to do business with companies who are implementing Gestapo activities, I suggest you start checking these companies out. Enough of my rant.
And I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yep.
Okay. Funny one for this part. White House to return billions in border funding to our DOD. They said Trump, evil men, must give money back to people who don't deserve it and don't use it right. Well, let's see. Let's go to Lowe's and buy a wrench for $2. If you look at an invoice for a Humvee, the same exact wrench, you can buy at Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, is 4,000 and 5,000 times more expensive. Now, when I was in the military, I seen some of those requisition orders. And that was the nice thing about sitting in the office like I did. It was easy, but I shouldn't have looked at it. Come on.
Whoa. Okay. I'm just looking at that one of the ones that you got on the screen there in the middle. No, down below that.
This one?
There, that one.
Oh yeah, that's disturbing in and of itself. But
Because hey, those want to regulate the tax preparers. Those are the ones that are keeping people from paying taxes by finding all the loopholes. They want to, get rid of them.
the tax code is so heavy and so thick that if you were to start reading it right now, the average person, the way the average person reads, it will take you approximately 2 years to read the whole set of documents. It's that thick. Most tax preparers who are trained through H&R Block or Intuit or any of these other companies have to use computer algorithms to try and even attempt to understand it. And that means the computer algorithm is only as smart as the person that programmed it.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yep. But anyway, back to the whole wrench. The wrench that I seen back now, mind you, this is clear back in 1985. When I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, sitting on my lieutenant commander's desk was a requisition order that he had to sign. One wrench, $967. Where at that time you could go to Kmart and buy it for $1.50. Same exact wrench, made by the same exact company. So they're going to go ahead and give billions back to the DOD, who does not understand financial anything.
Oh, they understand it. Did you see that wrench, that $900 they were spending on that wrench? $850 got kicked back to the senator that approved that company to be on the as a purchasing supplier.
Fish and Loaves that ain't going to finish the wall. because it gets rid of all their living votes. And Miss Nina, yeah, that was a minute ago. Yes. And now back to the one Gil pointed out. They're trying to get rid of it so they can't use as many loopholes. They're already talking about taxing the rich even harder, which to a degree I understand and kind of agree with. Because let's use our former president, Mr. Trump, who's well known, openly admitted that he uses loopholes and tax write-offs to save on taxes.
Any sane person would.
Yeah. Do you not file an itemized tax return when you go to file your taxes to get more money back? The rich are no different. They just have a whole lot more loopholes that they can run through than you and I do. When I drove truck, just as an example, in 2008, I made $105,000 that year. I have no idea where the hell it went. Well, yeah, I do. I bought a car. Anyway, my tax return before deductions and loopholes and per diem and everything else, I would have had to have paid $67,000 in taxes because of the type of employee I was. After every single solitary loophole my accountant could find, counting my per diem and everything else, you know what my taxes were? $2,857.10. So there are ways to get around it. And I'm glad he found those loopholes because there's no way I could have afforded to pay those taxes. So there is a good reason for tax laws, and taxes, in my opinion, are unjust in the first place. Our government needs to learn how to spend money better. Instead of wasting it on, let's give them $1 million to learn if chickens poop sideways in the rain. Let's give them $880,000 to see if hurricanes spin up faster over coral reefs than they do over open water.
It won't happen, Dave, because the last president who balanced the budget for 4 years was Andrew Jackson. And most of the time he shot people because they said, your figures don't add up right. And he was later on a Supreme Court justice, and he went after people. How many people do you think he killed in the White House?
Not enough.
Anywho.
Only Democrat I like.
Apparently, Kate Middleton uses code words to let her children know they're acting up in public. This is really smart. I guess if you teach your children at a certain age, if I tell you polka-dotted ponies means you're acting bad and they grow up learning that, I guess that's okay, but there's not much after that. That's okay, you're doing bad. Now let's go back to having fun. That didn't work for me. If mom said I was doing bad and didn't do something to help get my mind to correct it, I kept right on doing it anyway. But, you know, I learned, I changed. Toast? Who's got toast? Who's toast? Oh, sorry, rabbit. Yeah, code words are kind of smart if the child has the development ability to understand and implement the change behavior. Unfortunately, with all the GMO stuff that's been put in the food and the fluoride that's been shoved down their throat since they were infants and all these other crap, excuse my vernacular, that's shoved down our kids' throat through schools and brainwashing. Most kids nowadays either have ADHD or bipolar or are in somewhere within the autism spectrum. Most kids today now are not labeled as normal. They have some kind of issue. Therefore, simple code words don't always mean a change in behavior. Mm-hmm. So if they're raised and they've got the mentality to deal with it, then great. If they don't, go ahead.
I like Justin's, Courtney's husband's comment there about the code word.
Mm-hmm. My mom's was simple. Knock it off. Yes, Mom. Let's see, anything else interesting here? Pitch is free tuition. Tuition? Words are difficult. Tuition. But will he ever cancel your student debt? What? Whatever. Go away, child. You bother me. I'm kidding, folks. I'm kidding.
A lot of people are going to get surprised when they read the fine print. Now you're in subscription. You just joined one of our groups, a military or a work draft.
Yeah, but it's not mentioning anything about previous student loans. They can't figure out the way to do it to where it makes money. Charles, Miss Nina said hello. I told him. He said hello back. What? What's this? White farmers sue seeking government loan forgiveness. What?
Oh, because
hold on. Just 1 second. 1 second. I got to throw this out there. You mean to tell me the Mexican and the black and the Asian farmers aren't doing the same thing? Because you know what? I know a few black farmers, and I'm not saying black derogatorily. I'm saying it as definition of race for what politics or the Associated Press has put out there. So if we're going to call one race by itself, then we need to do the same for any and all other races. Let's not show favoritism here.
Yeah.
Now, what was you going to say?
What it is, they because whites were excluded from the continuation of funding that farmers are getting, and from the loan forgiveness, because they're not a farmer of a historically disadvantaged race.
But look right here. This is from The Root, and I don't trust what they're saying as far as I can see in the dark with my eyes closed. White farmers sued government because black people truly can't have anything. And that's a crock of poo.
Yeah.
A big pile of poo that they stunk down in the Vietnamese stink pot down in the underground for 25 years.
Yeah.
It's nasty. It's not true. Let's see. I feel bad for this guy. It was probably done during a live stream as a joke. This young lady passed away. But because of his dumbness and stupidity and thinking it was a joke doing his live stream, he's going to be sitting 6 years in a Russian prison. Not good. I hope y'all can't hear that noise outside. Let's see.
Oh, jury finds Roundup responsible. It just went off the screen there. Responsible for lymphoma.
Yeah. But you got to be using it for a long time. Hey, Stringfield. Freaky geek, good evening.
My mom was using it for about 8 years when she got lymphoma.
Just catching up on chat here. All right, let's scroll down a little bit more here. Oh, that's interesting. She's going to sue Biden over Rushmore 4th of July fireworks display. Yeah, I think, us being able to show our independence in that form is something that we've grown accustomed to, and for them to stick their nose into where it don't belong is kind of wrong.
Oh, we don't want everybody gathering out there in the openness.
But that's one of the few states that are going maskless outside, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Play nice, children. Many Republican voters agree with Biden. Trickle-down economics has failed. It's never worked in the first place. It didn't work when it was first implemented, back when they started taxing people, and it ain't worked since. Trickle-down economics doesn't work. Case in point, remember back when Mr. Obama decided, let's give all these companies several trillion dollars worth of money to help fix those companies.
And all the
it didn't work.
CEOs got mega.
Well, look at Chrysler. Chrysler. That's the biggest publicized one. Chrysler sent all of its CEOs overseas on paid vacations in excess of several $1 million. And we wonder why Chrysler went belly up and had to become government owned. Couldn't figure out why. What would have done a better job, and not that it really would have done much of a better job, would have been taking that same couple $1 trillion, divided up amongst every tax-paying American. Tax-paying American. Not illegals, not foreign entities, just actual resident Americans who pay taxes, of which I was one, and divide that among them equally. That would have been several $100,000. That would have done more to stimulate the economy, even though it would have been just as short-lived, than giving all that money to those companies who were supposed to trickle down economics. If you want to fix the economic problem, you give the money where the money's going to do the most good, which is to the people who are going to spend it, to those companies that actually need the bailout.
Well, see,
Either way, it really wouldn't have worked, because as you can see now, the stimulus checks that have been given out haven't really done nothing to boost the economy. It's just the news is telling you it is.
Yeah. If they'd given instead of giving it to all the corporations and stuff, they give it to the people. The people would have turned around and bought the cars and trucks and everything else, which would help then the corporations would have got a lot of money anyways, and then they could have done their trickle down there. But the people could have been buying things and helping themselves out, sending the money up before it comes back down again. Of course, then the companies would have been spending millions of dollars on vacations and stuff.
Yeah, that was his favorite folly.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's disturbing. I don't know how they did that, but that was some pretty good programming on their part. Get past
What
that
was
picture.
that? Former Chick-fil-A employees allegedly diverted customer payments and
Yeah.
Gee,
Oh,
like that doesn't happen in other companies.
Yeah, it does from a regular basis too.
Yeah.
Biden's selling point for his $2.3 trillion infrastructure plan. Most jobs would not require a college education.
Sorry.
Well, if you're working on the infrastructure, most of your guys in there haven't been to college; they've been to a trade school.
Oh, so that means you do have to spend money to become an electrician, to actually work. You know what? These guys up here on this right here, they're not guys off the street. You have to take training to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a skill to do that. And you know what? You can't jump up there and weld those rebars together and all that stuff without proper training and schooling. So it still requires a degree. Yeah.
But it's just not a college degree; it's a trade school degree.
You know what? Some of those trade schools can be just as darn expensive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or if you're like my nephews, they all didn't go to a trade school. They got put directly into the union as apprentices, and they learned there. And they learned exactly what they need to do. And two of my nephews now are one.
Frozen.
Oh, sorry. Was a superintendent, and the other one is an inspector for East Bay Municipal Utility District.
Oh, here's something disturbing, which is getting more and more prevalent. Government trying to decide who lives or dies. $24 million spent on Fort Worth toddler's life support. Hospital says Texas may intervene. I mean, you know, if the insurance and the family can keep up with the medical bills through one form or another, you know, as long as something's being done to where it's not a burden on everybody else, which it sounds like it isn't. You know, we're just mad because somebody's spending that kind of money on one child.
And they're not really spending that money on one child. That number is inflated because that number includes a whole, you know, like the nurse that works with that child and 6 others. They count her entire salary in that.
Mhm.
Doesn't count, and same thing with the doctors, where they count their entire salary into that. They're counting people's entire salaries, and so the number is way overinflated.
Inflated, yeah.
Oh, good evening, Drops. CB, I didn't see you guys roll up in here. Anyway, the government has no right to decide who lives, who dies. They have no right. Okay, whether there's a little child like that one in which children are innocent and should be given the chance to live, even if it is in a reduced capacity. Because you know what? They have a purpose too. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it ain't there.
I remember, folks, today is something special because I tell people you should read history. What happened in Germany on this date? Euthanasia, folks. The whatchamacallit, the guys in the black outfits were euthanizing people with disabilities. I keep telling this to people, but nobody ever listens. And today's a special day. I keep yelling at people, do you know what day it is? April 30th. That's when you know who, not Hitler, the other guy. Dave, I can't remember. What's the other guy's name?
Oh, good grief. You would put me on the spot.
Goring?
Not Goring. The
Stalin.
chicken farmer.
Not
No,
Stalin.
not the other guy.
I can't
Chicken
think of his name right
farmer.
now.
Whatchamacallit? Who?
Himmler?
Could be Himmler. I think it's Himmler.
One of the bully boys.
Right. Because he said it would save money if they start eliminating the weakness out of the German culture.
Don't mind me. I'm just trying to look it up. Let's see. That's 1790. 1812. Oh, they won't show it. Okay, I can't pull it up. Ooh, time to toss an unwieldy income tax and replace it with something far simpler. How about just get rid of it completely? Do I hear hello, yes on that one, anybody?
Sorry, I was looking it up.
Time to get rid of the income tax and replace it with something simpler. The most simple thing is get rid of it completely.
Or just go flat rate. 10%.
No, just get rid of it completely. You know why I say that? Because then those guys who wear suits in Washington who are elected don't get a paycheck. That means they'll have to do some actual work and only stay in that office for 4 years and go back home and go back to a regular job. Yes, Miss Lori, please bite your tongue just a little bit. Not too hard. I don't want you to draw blood. I've seen how adamant you can be. Yeah. Let's see where we at. 34. All right, that's enough of Yahoo.
Uncle Al, the name you were looking for is Philip Bouhler. Bouhler. And his right-hand man was Carl Brandt, who is the chief physician of the N Party.
Thank you very much, Gil. And he was one of those guys, couldn't remember.
Yeah, it's part of the obscure part of all that history that it's easy to forget names with. Okay, as this one shows, this is The Week. It's the name of the rag. Rag, for those who are unaware, is the name of a paper or a magazine. They're called rags. Have been for many, many, many years. And if you don't believe me, go look it up. It's true. Anyway.
Because it basically is rag paper. It's sort of a cloth, a cotton fiber paper that they were printed on originally.
Mm-hmm. See, another little interesting tidbit of history y'all weren't prepared for. See, we smart like that.
Mm-hmm.
At least once in a while.
We read book.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, it does, Nina. Excuse me. Biden's big government. Is anybody really going to fight him? Well, no, considering those in power are with him. Until he's served his purpose, then they'll shove him out and take over. Good politics, bad economics. Yeah, that's what we're seeing.
Dave,
Hmm.
the question there is, will Biden's tax surge come back to haunt him? It'll definitely come back to haunt us.
Oh, yeah. Well, we might not have to worry about it. We may be all in work camps because we can't pay our taxes no more. And if you can't pay taxes, you're going to have to work them off somehow.
Yeah, it's called conscription. I did a video on that.
And if anybody says that don't happen, go back and read your history books. It
Oh,
does.
yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. Most of Common Core education now has made those history books disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to learn true history before it's all gone, better go and get books now because you ain't
Yep.
going to find it online.
Nope.
And you need books printed before 1980.
Yeah, especially Encyclopedia Britannicas.
If you can get a good 1967 or 70 full set of Encyclopedia Britannicas, I would do it, even if it cost you about $1,200 to get it.
Yep. That's the first thing I'm going to replace once I get lots of money. Get back my cyclopedias. I lost that in the house fire.
Welcome to the club, Lori.
What'd I miss?
It's her one with the laughing emojis.
Yeah. Well, you're in the same boat with most of us. It's just that you're doing the whole Titanic thing at the front of the boat. We love you,
I'm
Lori.
the king of the world. Oh, sorry.
Is free daycare what Americans really want?
No, they want impeachment.
No, hold on. As somebody who's had to pay the exorbitant cost of daycare, as most mothers are, some fathers have to deal with, those who are couples deal with it as a couple. Daycare can be extremely exorbitant. I worked 46 hours at Lowe's one week. My daycare bill was 90% of my paycheck after taxes. So is free daycare what I want? At the time, I'd have been jumping up and down all over it saying, heck yeah, I'll take some free daycare. Because it's not, it's not completely free. Subsidies for one parent to stay at home are vastly more popular. Well, that's because some people are just plain lazy. What people want is a regulated system, which I know it sounds like more government interference, but no, there needs to be a standard. You shouldn't have one house or daycare system saying it's $7.50 per child per hour. What? It should be a consistent rate across all daycare providers. Everybody should charge the exact same. That way, there's also more regulation as to who can actually do the daycare. Because right now, it's kind of unwieldy. All I have to do.
State you're in.
Oh, really? All I got to do is make sure the walls in this place are painted because this house is over 100 years old and it really needs paint. And turn my office here, move it upstairs and make this the playroom and sleeping room. And I could actually turn this into a daycare center.
Yeah, in California, you got to have all these certificates, all the inspections.
Oh, and here in
They
Ohio,
regulate the heck out of it there.
You do too. Here in Ohio, you have to have certificates, but they're stupid easy to get. Yeah, you got to sit through this class and you sit through that class. Oh, here's your certificate. That didn't teach anybody nothing. I could sleep through the classes and still answer the questions because it's common sense. So there needs to be better regulated as far as who can do it and streamlined as far as what the rates are. They shouldn't jump from one place charging $7.50 and another place charging $14.80. It's ridiculous. So no, we don't want free daycare. We just want something that's standardized. Like the Postal Service. You buy a stamp, you know exactly what you're buying. Just don't expect your package to get there very quickly. Caitlyn Jenner's lonely run. She's running under the GOP? Aw.
No, she has no place in the GOP.
But that's where she was. He. That's actually a he. I'm tired of this whole. It was born a male. It's a male. Just because it wants to pretend it's a female so it can go into the female's bathroom and look up their skirts for free. Because that's all it's about. You know, it's perversion. It's perversion. That's all it is. I don't care if anybody likes it. I don't care if anybody wants to strike. That was born a male. It's a male. Okay. If it has surgery to cut it all off, then it becomes a eunuch. Okay.
Still a male.
No, technically
it's not a female. It's like a steer is still considered male, but it's no longer a bull.
To go back to the biblical standard.
Yeah.
Back in biblical times, what did the pharaohs do to their servants? They cut it off. They turned them into eunuchs. They were neither male nor female. They were eunuchs. They couldn't do either one. So it's either you are what you are or you're a eunuch. Anyway, has no chance in California. We stated that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Apparently there's some meat problems going on. They're coming for your hamburgers. Where's the beef? The Green New Deal. So much fun. Should be against the law. I did read this one here, and it's not, they're taking what a news anchor said completely out of context. So this one's ignorable. Bonnie is left-leaning. And I can tell you why lumber prices are skyrocketing. It's because of the Green New Deal. More companies, and construction companies that is, are building stuff out of lumber instead of steel. Well, let's see. What was Trump's family founded upon? Steelworks. So they're trying to nail, yet again, another place where it will hurt him. So they're telling people, oh, we got to quit doing that. Let's cut down all the trees because apparently we don't need the dang things. Let's make lumber out of it and build all our places out of lumber. Sounds counterintuitive to me.
Yeah.
Because, yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I went and looked back up that one about the meat shortage.
Mm-hmm.
Fox has been running several news things about possible pork shortage this summer. Meat wholesalers saying meat shortages are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And more people are getting their hunting licenses and stuff amid the threat of meat shortages.
Mm-hmm. Something we said, a month and a half ago was going to come?
Yeah.
Gee, maybe we just tuned into the right radio frequencies and they're not. Yeah. I don't know.
And we're still sending pork to China.
Yeah. Also coal, oil, lumber. A lot of things coming out of Seattle and Portland really quick. Like soybeans, lots and lots of soybeans going to China.
Well, here's India's second wave hitting. That's kind of worrisome.
Yeah, because all the call centers will be vacant.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking for one. That's why I'm scrolling down so far. Here it is. Builders are swapping out steel for timber. So it's not something I made up, folks. There's an actual article on it, even though this one is left-leaning in its comments. The basic facts are still on point, unfortunately.
I like the way the Democrats flip-flopped on that, because 20 years ago, they pushed going to steel because it was more green-friendly.
Right.
I laugh too much, guys.
That's what we're here for, comedic relief.
Yep.
Racial realism. No.
It's like Biden finally realized after 140 years The Armenian massacre. He just realized it happened.
Yeah. 5 funny cartoons about COVID anti-vaxxers. How did they get me? How did they find me on the horse? Oh, wait, that's not me. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm just not stupid enough to take the vaccine that they're throwing. I know my health, and I know what I need to protect my health, and it's not that crap. Scandal proof. Tucker Carlson's uncancelable. They said that about somebody else that used to work at Fox, now has his own program.
Glenn Beck.
No. Bill.
Riley.
Riley, sorry.
Bill O'Reilly.
Like I said, folks, earlier I was grilling steaks and tortillas and peppers and onions. I'm just munching away. So, like I said, I hope you have your own cows because Betsy here cooked up really good.
And the last one I'm going to cover here while we're still all together is what good are promises if they can't be trusted? The shadow over Biden's climate summit. They're making claims and deals and stuff that, well, cannot be completed. They can't be trusted. It's a joke. And the sad part is lamestream media is promoting this as it's the proper thing to do. It's what we should all be doing. And while you watch that, then it goes to the Geico commercial with the little teeny lizard saying, you can save more money by pretending you like me as a lizard.
Yeah, and meanwhile, our fearless leader over there is considered the evil forces of America. And Kim Jong of North Korea is now a hero in the rest of the world. It's gotten that bad, folks. It's three bad guys. Xi of China, Joe Biden of America, and Which Khomeini of Iran. Those are the big 3 evil forces in the world. And I've been watching all different medias. Everybody agrees.
So what have you got, Gil?
Nothing much. I've been working so hard, but I love Prairie Rider's comment there. I have a few spare sheets of plywood in case I need a few quick bucks. Don't invest in gold. Invest in plywood and 2x4s.
You know, that's actually not a sound problem, because you know what? If the economic collapse were to hit and things were harder to come by, and people had to start building chicken coops to keep chickens or repair doors and stuff, they're going to be needing lumber. And if you got a stash of it, they're going to be coming up to your house. Hey, man, what's it going to take to get that piece of plywood? Yeah, I need 3 cans of peaches, 2 cans of blueberries, and a can of pumpkin pie mix.
And 5 pounds of hamburger.
Nah, that's for the 4x4s they're going to need.
Yep. Or going to steel, folks. Real steel, like steel doors and steel trusses.
Well, you need that for your protection of your own home, but most people don't know how to weld.
True.
I know how, but I'm not that great at it. Could I get by with it? Yeah, I can get by. But the average person can't weld.
Right.
So
they can't even
steel,
right. They can't even spot weld with a regular arc welder.
half of them can't even spell weld.
True.
WELLED?
No, Lori, it's not a civil war in the United States. It's a communist invasion and takeover. Civil war is in Canada. Remember which government?
Hold on. Oh, no, actually, sorry, had to stretch.
No problem.
A civil war would imply that there was 2 even sides going to battle it out over something that each side believes in. That's not happening.
Nope.
You have a very enlarged side who thinks they're God and thinks they need to run everything. And you have a smaller side who thinks they're wrong and we need to take care of ourselves. We don't need Big Brother telling us what to do and how to do it. We've been doing pretty darn good for the last 270 years. We don't need the government stepping in now to try and take over.
And Lori, it's not that hard to learn to weld if you have a good teacher and the right equipment.
No, it's actually pretty easy. Just make sure you got the proper eyewear.
And make sure the electrics don't touch you.
And the ground
I
at the
don't
same
know.
time.
I'm still here. Actually, that wasn't that bad. Putting my arm across a CRT cathode was eye-opening, to say the least.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, folks, I did a video. You could check my channel of what George Orwell said in 1949. You could check out my channel about 1949, about 1984, his novel. And he told this in 1949 that most people will not notice the revolution or civil war or whatever long enough to look above their screens. They'll be like, huh? Now look at today and look at everybody with one of these things. Are they going to look above it? No. They won't even know they're getting conquered or brainwashed. And if you're right, if I'm right, they're probably being programmed like, let's shoot up the Walmart or shoot up the post office.
Well, let's look at the trend in the last several weeks. Is it not true that now in the last 2 months, at least once a week, we hear of a mass pew pew going off? I don't want to say the other word because it's a trigger word.
Yeah.
But there's a whole lot of pew pew going off, and they're devastating. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's right. No, it's totally wrong. But you can't blame society for what one person does, and you can't ban the implement because of what that one person did, because that implement has no brain power of its own. It can't jump off the stand or out of the box or out of the drawer or out of a car and do it on its own. If it could, we'd all be in trouble. You have to blame the person that did it. All right.
Gil has to go.
A little bit.
Yep, I'm gonna go and get mine set up here. See you guys over there in a couple minutes.
Right.
So let's stop blaming implements, because on that very argument, okay, Joe Schmo used pew pew and did what he did. So let's take all the pew pews away from everybody. Going on that same mental premises, Linda Roughrider down here at the corner of 5th and 3rd got drunk the other night, went speeding down the street, ran into a car carrying 5 children and 2 parents, and nobody made it. Well, Linda herself is the one that's going to court. She's the one that's getting charged with manslaughter or worse. Not the car.
Nope.
We're not taking the cars away from everybody. But if we're going to follow the same mentality they're using for pew-pews, let's take cars away from everybody. Nobody can have a car no more, ever, period.
Right.
Got to get somewhere, jump on a horse.
Right. If we follow the same mentality, we could take out all the Democrats and Republicans out of office as a danger to public health.
No, they're a danger to society.
Right. Menace
If we
of
follow
society.
that mentality.
Menace to society.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats and Republicans. And you see, the world will be a lot better. But do they ever say about it? No, because they want to stay in power.
And Lori brings up another good point. Cell phones. You know, I still see, and this includes police officers, looking down at their phone while driving. Excuse me? That's against the law. They made it against the law because there's too many accidents. What was it? About 8 years ago, I posted a clip on my Facebook page of what was left of a car that went into the back of a garbage truck. There was 5 or 6 young had just graduated from school girls, and not a one of them made it.
No, because
They were all texting each other while sitting in the car. They were all texting each other, laughing and carrying on. And the driver, who was texting somebody in the back seat, looked down to make the text and ran in at full speed of a garbage truck that was stopped. The car literally crawled up underneath that garbage truck like it was part of it.
Yep.
Okay. But did they make these illegal? Did they take these away because of that? No. Well, it's okay. It's her fault. Well, yeah, you're right. It is her fault. I'm not, it's sad that something happened bad. But you can't blame the implement that caused it. So why, okay, here's another way to look at it. Countries go to war over stupid things. I'm not going to say the U.S. went to war over oil. You can make up your own mind on that one. But so let's take the U.S. away from the world. Or let's take China away from the world for what it's doing to the Uyghurs. Okay. You can't take an entire society out for what one or two people are doing. Okay. You can't take out all of China because of what's happening to the Uyghurs. But maybe we should either A, change what we're doing to the Uyghurs, or take those people that are doing that and take them out of office. Hey, Howie. Just in
I'm
time
heading
for us to
over
wrap
to
it up.
Gil.
All right, see you there in a minute. So, based on those premises, we need to change the way we're doing things. And the change can start with us. Down here at the bottom, we change the way we vote, and we change where we spend our money, and change the way we pray. You guys know I've done many Bible chats and lives and stuff like that. So y'all know where I stand. So if you want to see change, start praying first and start changing the way you do things. That being said, I'll wrap it up at that point. We're going to be heading over to Gil's. And hold on, I'm not even sure what channel we're going to. I got to go look. So let me go look. I think it's the Patton Family Compound one. I think. So, if you guys have been paying attention to your subscription, your things on YouTube, you'll know. So I didn't look. All I got is an email, and that's where I'm going. So here in a moment, we're going to head over to Gil's. If anybody can drop a link to Gil's, I could probably go find it real quick. Here it comes. It's nice having a computer that will actually do more things than just sit there and look at me. So I am blessed in that respect. There you go. All right. So here in a few minutes, we'll be over at Gil's. Guys, go get yourself a drink. Visit the potty room if you need to. And y'all have a good night. Stay safe and God bless. Until next time.